guys, welcome back to my 372 cubic inch small block Chevy build. This next one we're going to concentrate on getting the camshaft in the engine. This one here is from Cloyes. It's a custom grind, solid roller, pretty small as far as camshafts go. It hasn't got a real huge lift, you know, not a lot of overlap, not big durations. It's really built for, you know, street sort of strip use. It's not full-blown competition. Obviously, you know, driving on the street you want a little bit towy still off the lights and around town, you know, a bit of drivability in it, but being boosted, hopefully it's going to hold some nice top end for us as well. The cam card, we'll have a look at that a little bit later on, but we'll get the camshaft and get it lubed up, get it in, and then we'll get the gear set on, time and chain. We'll put the degree wheel in, and then we'll degree the cam to the engine, set it up, and that's it. Then yeah, hopefully get the maybe oil pump, sump and front cover on the engine ready for top end assembly. Alrighty, let's just give it some lube, give it everything, whatever you got, just up it. One thing we'll do is put a bit of molly on the gear. It drives the oil pump and the, well, distributor slash oil pump. They can't have too much on. This is just engine oil. Because it's a roller camshaft, engine oil is good enough for lubrication on these. Just got to give it some. Give the bearings in the block a bit of a squirt as well. Steady as she goes, nice and easy. Don't want to bruise or try not to scratch the cam bearings as much as possible, obviously. Feeling quite good. Getting more oil on the floor, I think, than I am on the camshaft, but anyway, I can clean it up on the floor. Alright, now we've got the camshaft sitting in the block. Going to connect the gear onto the camshaft, and this particular gear is a hex adjust, and it's I think it's 4 degrees here, advance and retard, and the crankshaft gear has got 3 positions. You can obviously move around as well, which can give you a different advance or retard set point, or if you need it. This is the little the hex adjust cam. Got a hexagonal center that you put an Allen key into, and it's on a camshaft, so as you turn it, the camshaft rotates, you know, the gear in this slot left or right, depending which way you turn the little cam. Has a thrust washer that goes in the back of it. I've used this one before. This is off my last build, and then we're just going to put a new chain on it because the gear is actually in pretty good shape. There's almost no wear that can actually be seen on any of the teeth. It's in quite good condition. So I went and bought a new Rollmaster chain for it. Iwis or Ewis make the chain. I think they're a pretty good brand from all accounts, from what I'm hearing. There's nothing wrong with the old one. It's just it's seen a few miles, and it's a little bit stretched. So for the sake of a few bucks, a new chain, good quality, yeah, peace of mind. what do I do here? So generally I just grab my favourite empty tub of ice cream. In this case it's Golden North honey ice cream. The best ice cream, or honey ice cream on the planet in my book. Launch the chain in there for a bit. Same with the thrust washer. Get the special sauce and just, come on, no special sauce. And just let it, you know, just let it marinate, really, just give it some, like, let it sit in there. I'll have to add a little bit more special sauce here. Add to the master tub. Yeah. Anyway, we're just going to let that marinate in there for a little while. And it's actually enough. Stick it up on an angle. And then we're going to fit the gear and the chain onto the engine, and we'll dial in the camshaft. Alright, let's assemble this gear. The camshaft, hex adjust little cam. Put her in. Push him in there. Maybe turn that dot around to central. And of course, as we turn this left and right, we can advance or retard the cam timing. We'll get a thrust bearing out of the ice cream container. I put the thrust. There's an inner race that sort of curls around here, and the outer one that's got a bit of a sharp edge. The inner race that curls around I put down towards the gear. Lovely. And then there's our dot that we need to line up on the dot on the crankshaft gear as well. That's not very clear. We might have to mark that so you guys can see it. It's really lightly stamped on the gear. And then we'll get, now which way, does it matter? Probably not. Yep, their roller. I guess we'll just go that way. Yeah, looks the same. So we'll take that over to the crankshaft, line up the camshaft gear or the camshaft pin dowel that goes in there, it's probably around about there somewhere, and then feed that on the lower gear and feed that on the camshaft. So the piston here is at top determinant number 1. It's a little hard to see, but we did mark the 0. It's not very stamped very heavily, so we just marked it with a bit of white paint. There. Need to move the camshaft around a bit. I think that's about 90 degrees there, should be about right. Whoops. Retrieve that. Line the mark up. Well, that wasn't too bad. So we got both the dots lined up, and install a couple of bolts while we're here. You might have noticed there on the block we had some paint, some white paint on the block. After I installed the cam bearings, I just dummy fit the camshaft and put this gear on the front and noticed the gear was just touching the block on the back side on the radius, so we had to take a bit of material off the back of the camshaft, or not the camshaft, off the back, off the block, just to give enough clearance so that yeah, we didn't have any contact between the gear, camshaft gear and the block. Yep, new chain. You'd expect it to be fairly firm. Beautiful. So I'll just lift the cam bolts up so we know that the cam is seated onto the gear, and just loosen them off a bit, because we are going to need the gear loose so we can adjust our cam. Yeah. Alright. Another thing to take into consideration is how your gears line up. I mean, you know, that is pretty good. There's probably a couple thou there. Let's get the light up behind it. In fact, be lucky if there's a couple thou there. It's almost perfect all the way across. So you can see that the gear, this face is pretty well level with this face. So the alignment is pretty good. That's where I'm going with that. Maybe this side you can see a bit better. Yeah, maybe a couple thou, and that's okay. Let's get the degree wheel on. And we'll set up the indicator, or the pointer. Got a couple here. No. Yep, that may do. What we're going to do next is try and find true top dead center on piston number 1 here, and we'll use the degree wheel here to find that in conjunction with the dial indicator. So we've got the dial indicator mag base on the top of the engine. Dial indicator, we'll turn it on. The piston is close enough to top dead center. The idea is, to start with, we're just going to go rock this piston down and up until it's sort of over top dead center, and we're going to just roughly zero that out. Doesn't really matter at this point. So we're going to move the piston down the bore. We're going to back it up. I don't know, say 50 thou, 50 or 100 thou or whatever we think. So we're going to go back it down. And that's in inches. So we'll just make it. We'll make it 500. Half thou, of course, yeah, whatever. Seriously. I mean, we're splitting hairs. So we're gonna have a look now at what degrees we're at. And let's make it 40, just for giggles. Now we're going to come back around, bring the piston back up, top dead center, and back down again to the same point. And then we'll measure what degrees we are past the 0 point of top dead center. So let's roll it back around. Should get a bit of. Oh my god, that's a fluke. That's a first. So we are at 40. Just shy of 41. So let's split the difference here. Go 40 and a quarter. And then we'll come back around again. Bring the piston back to top dead center. And back down to 500 on the gauge. and we are pretty well bang on. So we know now that when the piston's 500 thou down on one side and we 0-40, and then we go the other side 500 thou down on the opposite side of top dead center here to 40. Now we know both are 40 degrees at 500 thou down. We can say that when we are at 0, which is right there, we are at top dead center. So what we're going to do next, we're going to put some lifters in number 1. Let's just set the lifters off my last build. Might have to get the new ones out, I think, the taller ones. Looking at that, they suit the small block Chev original block. And they are. And the idea, we'll rotate this the engine around until we've got pretty well full lift on the lobe. So the lobe is coming up on the intake. That is about us there. So we'll 0 that roughly. Then we'll go 50 thou down, take a measurement. 30, 40. Now we'll take a reading off the degree wheel in front of the engine. And we are at 155. So 155 plus. Now we'll roll this engine back around the other way until we're 50 thou. Come over the top, 0, and back down 50 thou again on the other side of the lobe. There we go, and we are reading 69 and a half, say 69. It's 69 and a half plus 69.5 equals, and we divide that by 2, so our center line is 112.25. This camshaft we need to dial in at 110 center line. So now we need to get in here and adjust this around so we get a split of 110. Hopefully I'm going the right way. Going to need to retard this about 2 degrees, so let's try that. The bolt's a bit of a nip. And we'll go through the motions again. 50, we are 156. So 156 plus. We'll come back around until we are 50 thou down the other side of the lobe. Oops, a lot too far there. Come back again at 50. And we are 70 plus 70 equals 226 divided by 2 equals 113. Sounds like I've gone the wrong way. Damn it. I'll need to readjust this again and then recheck. It's 50. 53, 153, 153 plus, winding back over the top of the lobe again and down the other side, 50 down the other side, and we are sitting at, that is 67. So plus 67 equals that we divide by 2, and that is our center line. And that's what our camshaft card says us to degree in on. So 4 degrees of advance has been grounded in this camshaft. If using lobe center, which is what we're doing, method, degreeing, cam should be installed on an intake center line of 110. So that's exactly what we've got, 110. Now we'll go along and we'll check opening and closing events at 50 thou on the inlet and the exhaust. So on the base circle of the cam, we're reading 0 there. Might not be able to see that, but we're going to come across on the intake lobe and come up 50 thou and check the degrees at 50 thou. Let's get a bit closer while I'm turning. So 50 thou lift, and we're at 14, so 14.5 degrees. So then we'll rotate it again. We'll go over max lift, which is 356 in this case, back down to 50. On the other side of the lobe, and this will be our intake closing, and we are sitting on 56. And that's exactly what the cam card says, but we're about 2 degrees short on the inlet opening. We'll leave that and we'll check the exhaust lobe at 50, and then we'll decide whether we move the center line forward or back from there. Move the dial indicator onto the exhaust lifter here. We've set it to 0, and we are on the base curve, or the bottom of the lobe on the camshaft. We'll now rotate the engine around until we get 50 thou lift, so exhaust opening at 50 thou. And we'll measure what we have on the degree wheel. Have to zero that out a bit, I think. Might have moved it. Out, you. Come on. You know you're not allowed in here. I don't care. Come on. Out. Troublemaker. So the piston is on the way down. The bore. There we go. Exhaust starting to open. 50 thou. There we go, 50. 60 degrees. We hit smack on 60 degrees. The cam card calls for 61 degrees, so we're 1 degree out there, which is okay. So we'll roll around over max lift, which is on this cam card says we should be 340 thou max lift. Let's see if we get there. It doesn't look like we're going to get there neither. We'll just check we've got on the base curve of that camshaft again properly. Looks like we're a couple of thou short on max lift. Heading back down the cam lobe till we get to the 50 thou mark. Come on up. Right there. Cam card says we should be exhaust closes at 5 degrees after top dead center. Let's have a look, see what we got on our wheel. And we are 4 degrees after top dead center. So we're 1 degree out, both on the intake, exhaust opening and exhaust closing. So after dialing the camshaft, specifications, we've set the center line to 110 degrees by adjusting the little cam adjusting sprocket on the cam drive gear, and at checking the intake and exhaust valves at 50 thou tappet lift, we're retarded actually. It should be 16.5 degrees before top to center for the intake to open, and we're at 14.5, so we're 2 degrees retarded there. But the closing on the intake is bang on 56.5 after bottom dead center, and then exhaust is right on the money at 61 degrees before top dead center opening at 50 thou load lift, and then it's closing at 4 degrees. So I was going to leave it, but I think what I'll do is we'll go back and recheck that we've got top dead center marked right on our wheel, and if we have, I'll probably go back and set the center line, the lobe center line, the intake lobe center line from 110 down to 109, which will advance it the camshaft a degree. Should also bring our intake opening forward a degree or so as well. So we'll get into that, and we'll do the whole process again. Okay, so let's explain this. I'll go over finding top dead center. I just want to verify, and well, I have already. We've checked it and we are correct. But let's just verify how to find and set top dead center, number 1 piston, and zero this pin out to read 0. Let's say, without the piston even being at top dead center near it, let's set the piston there, for example. Turn on a gauge and we can zero it there, right, whatever. So we'll go down the bore an extra, I don't know, let's say 200, or let's say 400, or let's say 450. There you go. And we have a look, we can see that we're after top dead center, and we are 47 degrees. Okay. Now we'll roll back up again, past actual top dead center, back down to 450 on the gauge. $451, alright, and we can see we're 47. So we're 47 after top dead center, and we're 47 before top dead center, so we know that when this is on 0, we are actually at top dead center. Now if we weren't, if we were down 400, or if we're down, say we're down 400 or 460 or whatever it is, 402, and we're 40, and then we come across back over the top, back down again to 400 on the gauge, and say we're 45, then what we would do, we would move this across, split the difference, 5 would split the difference, we'd move this across 2.5 degrees and remeasure at the same point. So 407, and then so 407, we're at 45. If we'd adjusted, we'd go back down to 407 on the other end. Whoops, too far again. 407, and we'll be at 45. So you know, doesn't matter, as long as this piston's at the same spot and we get the same reading degrees both before and after top dead center, we can say that true top dead center, or true 0, is where we set it is when this is reading 0 on the degree wheel. We're at true 0 top dead center of the piston at the top of its stroke. So, get out of there, you. Well, this is recording. Come on. That's the War and Finance Minister. That's right. Okay, so that is the camshaft installed. I've pretty well killed that. I think we've done both the lobe center line and the lift at 50 thou. In the end, we've ended up leaving the camshaft set, or the lobe center line set to 109 degrees. A couple of degrees late on the 50 thou lift on the opening, and that's okay. Next up, we'll get the oil pump into the block. It's Shark's Tooth oil pump, steel drive. Get that in there. But first thing, we've got to put the dowels in the main cap rear main cap. What they're about, what are they, 16. So we'll knock them in halfway. Just got, so what have I got here? A couple of washers, about 8 mil. So we'll use that to bash them in. Then we'll put the oil pump on the dowels, and then yeah, we'll torque it down with a bolt. All right, we'll get these chaps started. And then the other one's a bit flatter than the other, but it's still chamfered just a bit. Yep. Something I prepared earlier. Being the ARP stud in. Bit of the ARP lube. We'll use the right washer. Oil pump installed. Just measuring the depth of the pan now. Dog next door have an epileptic fit. Anyway, that is on that end 220, and this end 225. Actually, it's closer to 215 and 225. So I say 220 down to the lowest part of the pickup. And then down at the bottom of the sump, we are at 230. So 10 mil, which is you're really close to 3/8 of an inch, and then 4 mil or 3.5, 4 mil for the gasket. That puts us in around 13, 14 mil, so 1/2 inch to 9/16 of an inch clearance between the bottom of the pickup and the bottom of the pan. We're good. Next thing we're going to do is get this cam cover on the front here. And one thing I do like about this cam cover, it's Cloyes cam cover, Cloyes, Cloyes, I don't know. Anyway, however you want to say it, it's got an adjustable cam button here, which is very handy. And undo that little screw there. Basically, you adjust it up, this in and out on a thread, and then you lock it back up with this here, so you can set your end float on your camshaft. The thing I don't like about it too much, if we drop it on, you can see the gap here, and then the interference fit along the front of this cap. I had to scallop this out for the old GM block, but we've still got a little bit of gap there that I'm going to probably have to take a little bit more of this cover out, clearance a little bit more, like I have here. So I might get that down to the machine shop and a few more thou out of that, so it fits up nice with the gasket behind it.
Right out, Martin, but
that's alright, doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. But
we've got manual CNC operation here.
Yeah, we have, and that's what
absolutely.
we're good at.
Yeah.
We are good at that. And let's just warm up. For a minute. Now I don't know how secure this is, mate. I'd even, you know what? Can we run around?
Yeah, okay, let's run a couple across here.
I'd feel better.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's set her up.
Just another one. What are you doing, mate?
Oh, we're getting in close.
Yeah, with your channel.
Yeah.
Are you on? Do you do your editing?
Yeah. Yeah. Beep, beep, beep.
What happened? Get up, you know. Then, Marky, you can't camera and do me turning as well, mate, because we're going to have to do this together.
Yeah, okay.
Because we're engineers.
Let's
here.
do it then.
Oh, hang on.
Oh, there we go. We're on.
How far you want? Oh,
Yeah, let's get that one.
try. Not bad, eh?
Not bad.
Went wrong way. And a little bit unco there in a few spots, but you know what? We will improve by the time we get to the
We'll be smack on.
the old humanoid CNC.
Yeah, sometimes you just got to check when you fit stuff onto the engine because it doesn't always fit. 9 times out of 10.
Yeah, here at Johnny's we improvise.
We do, we improvise a lot. Yeah, that's right, John. Yeah, that's nice.
Stand up, we'll go a bit
It's
more.
beautiful. I'll get that with a bloody
No, but we'll go a bit
with a
more.
file. No, that's plenty.
Are you happy?
Yeah, absolutely.
Go with that?
Done. We'll get the front cover prepped. One thing that's pretty groovy on this cam button is adjustable. It's just a like a screwdriver. It's on a thread. Really simple idea. Other than the housing needing machining, you know, that's the only downside of it, but I mean, it's just stuff you check when you're putting the stuff together. But this is really easy when you've got it on. The engine, obviously, put that down till you've got, you know, a thou or zero end float on your camshaft, so it's really easy to adjust. You don't have to worry about machining and buttons or spacing or shimming. This seal is good. It's an old seal, but it's still sharp. It's hasn't done a lot of hours or a lot of kilometres. Again, it's off of my last build, my last engine. So we can get some grease on there, or you can use a bit of special sauce or oil or whatever cranks your tractor. Really, just not dry. So you got to have something on there. We just pop this on the block on the engine. The face or the finish on the block is pretty good, so we're not going to put any sort of silicone or sealant on that face, but we will put a little bit on this face here, just a really light smear, and we'll bot it down. I just got a little bit of acetone here just to get any grease or oils off the face, nice and dry for the gasket. You could use brake clean or petrol, or, you know, again, whatever cranks your tractor, just dry it up. Get the gasket in place. Just got a bit of worth. Silicone. Bang a little bit on the finger here. And just, I mean, the lightest of smears. Alright, the button's backed off. We'll just load that up on the front, grease on the seal. Alrighty. Sometimes the gasket's not exactly where it should be, just got to wiggle the bolts in, center her up. That's in the wrong hole. It's never good. Get our indicator in here. Launch the studs in for the sump. Get the harmonic balancer on. This one's from Fluid Damper. It's done a few campaigns. It's been around a few times. Can't even see the name on it anymore. In fact, I'll probably have to remark the degrees. So generally we've got grease on the seal already, but I'll still put a bit of grease on the outer race, and then I'll use a bit of Teflon just on the back side. Dab it on a bit on there, and then I'll also put a small amount on the inner race. Never used to do this with the Teflon, but I helped a mate there pull last year, halfway through last year, pull the harmonic balancer off of a V8 Hemi, and the balancer actually gouged or picked up on the crank snout, and we ended up breaking every tool we could purchase from the auto store and tool stores, and ended up getting that balancer off with a made up puller and hydraulic ram. So since then, a little bit of Teflon, not much, just a little smear, just to drag it up as I'm pulling it on. A little bit of Teflon helps to stop anything like gouling happening. Before we put that on, we'll get the puller adapter into the crank snout. Start the pulley back on. This is quite nice, this puller pusher. It's got a needle roller, so quite good for screwing it on, less friction. Screw the main section onto the adapter stud, and we will pull on the balancer. Oop. Okay, we are home. Installed. Now that we're at this point, this is an adjustable pointer for the timing marks, so it would be an opportune time to set the dial indicator up on top of number one, get the degree wheel on the front. We'll make sure number one's top dead center, and we'll set timing pointer to read 0. Loosen these off and move this around to read 0. If you don't have an adjustable timing pointer, it's still good to check. I mean, if it's inbuilt to your timing case or your timing cover, it's still a good idea to, you know, check that 0 is 0 and that the pointer on your timing case is actually on the 0 mark on your balancer notch or markings. Finally top dead center, we'll get the degree wheel on the front again, just, you know, why not. Eight and a half, 474, 474, 38 and a half. So we're bang on. That is our true top dead center. So now that we've found top dead center, true top dead center on number 1 piston, we can see that we are just off of the 0 mark on the balancer. So we'll adjust these, loosen these adjusting screws off here and just move that across a hair. And that is us. We know that our pointer is on true 0 and 0 was true top dead center on number 1. Loosen those chaps off a bit. Oh yeah, that'll do it. Didn't need to move it much, but you know that that's smack on TDC now. Verified. Get the front pulley installed. .55 foot-pounds, that should drill. .32 foot-pounds, plus or minus 5, she'll be. Hey guys, well, I've gone to fit the sump up and unfortunately I've overlooked one small detail. The dart block has provision for the dipstick tube only in one spot. The original GM block that I was using had provisions for a dipstick tube in both sides of the engine block. Unfortunately, the sump that I have doesn't have the provision for the dipstick in the right place. It's on the opposite side, so I'm going to probably need to sculpt this out, cut, shut, fill this one in a bit to make it work on this engine. I could buy a new one. It'd probably cost me in excess of, I don't know, around $600. You know, something with a windage tray and some baffles and bits and pieces. But at the end of the day, when I get it, if I buy a new one, I'm going to have to sculpt the back of it out here, and that's for the to fit a frame that goes across the bottom of this in the vehicle in the Ultima. So that is it for now. Until next time, hopefully we'll get some detail on, you know, cutting and shutting the sump, get the sump on, and start assembling the top end. But until then, guys, yeah, all gas, no brakes.